Hi, I'm Haley Hepworth, and this is your BMB coronavirus report for Tuesday, April 14th, and this is the 22nd day of school we've missed since we began following the stay-at-home order. Yesterday in Albany, Governor Cuomo announced a regional partnership between New York, New Jersey, and 4 other states to work together in a regional approach to when and how to restart the economy of the region. Governor Cuomo will head the committee. No timetable was given for returning from the stay-at-home order, as the governor also announced that we are still experiencing the apex of the virus. Meanwhile, on Twitter, Congresswoman Kathleen Rice tweeted out a long link to the Long Island Main Street Alliance Spirit, where people can find lists of local restaurants still open that they can support during the pandemic. This is a great time to take advantage of the no-contact delivery that many of the businesses in our area are offering. Now let's check in with our BMB reporters around the district to see how the coronavirus is impacting their neighborhoods.
My name is Katelyn and I'm reporting from Wilson Avenue in Bellmore. Week 5 is definitely different than week 1 because week 1 I had so much pent up energy and I was so ready to go, even though we couldn't. It was so new to me, and now week 5 it's like the new normal. I wake up expecting to be locked inside and not do anything and be bored, and I've learned to be bored. What is something you've learned over the past month? Over the past month, I've learned that technology is really insane because the whole country is digital with school, work, colleges, it's insane. And I think that a lot of people used to say that technology was a negative thing and had a negative impact on society, but clearly it's so beneficial, and we can see how beneficial it is in a time of crisis like this. And when they name the story in a few years in textbooks, the pandemic, I don't know what they're going to call it, maybe the pandemic of 2020, but they should call it Coronacation or Corona time. I know that's a joke, but because I'm on vacation and it's Corona time, so Coronacation works.
Hi, I'm AJ Freed from Walters Court. As we start week 5 of the shutdown, I can say it's definitely a lot different than week 1. During week 1, I was a lot more optimistic about coming back to school, but now after being inside for the past 5 weeks, I don't have that same feeling. It's upsetting to think about, but I know what we are doing is the best thing we can do right now. Over the past month, I've learned a lot about how a family can deal with being together locked inside for 5 weeks. With my sister home from college and both my parents home from work, we are together 24/7. I try to do my best and keep my distance from them so I can't bother them, but I know it's been hard on us all. When this is all over and the stories are written about this, I believe this chapter will be titled The Peak, because of the circumstance we were in for this time, as it was the worst 2 weeks according to Governor Cuomo. Well, there you have it. From Walters Court, for BMB, I'm AJ Freed. Stay safe, Michele.
Hi, I'm Michele Spiller reporting from Judith Drive, and this is week 5 of the quarantine shutdown. Now, it's definitely a lot better than week 1. I've realized a lot of people have gotten to schedules, and people have adjusted to the workload. Stress has definitely decreased because everyone is more adjusted to what's going on, and it's definitely less stressful than it was at the beginning of this because no one knew what was happening. Now, something I've learned during this time that I'm sure a lot of you have too is how to manage my schedule and time, because I sure do like sleeping better than actually doing my work, but we realize we all have to get our work done in order to pass our classes and to do well in school. So I learned to manage my time a little bit better than I think I knew before. Now, one small thing is that I'm sure books and movies will be written about this in the future because this is a very important time in human history. One thing I think we should call this, maybe a beginning of a chapter or something, maybe we could call it an adjustment period. We've all went through changes, and this has been a really hard period for all of us, but I think we were all doing great. From B&B, I'm Michele Spiller.
Thanks, guys. Anthony Fauci is a name that has been in the news quite a bit in recent weeks. But who is he? BMB's Emily Yucht takes a look.
My name is Dr. Tony Fauci. I'm the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases at NIH.
Tony Fauci is a name we see on TV and in headlines almost every day, but few people know who he actually is without having to do a Google search. Anthony Stephen Fauci is an immunologist and physician who has served as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases since the 1980s. He graduated from College of the Holy Cross and then earned his MD at Cornell. With a career spanning over 6 presidencies, Fauci is no newbie in the world of medical crises. After gaining his positions as director of the NIAID, Fauci led people through the HIV/AIDS crisis in the 1980s.
I'm working directly on AIDS, both clinically and from a basic science standpoint.
In 2001, he helped the public in understanding the reality and dangers of bioterrorism and anthrax, and 2 years later responded to the SARS outbreak.
But if you look at the history of bioterrorism and other types of attacks against the United States and other nations, it dates back to a variety of things, such as in the early 80s, the Tylenol episode.
He also led work to contain and stop the Ebola virus.
Patient Nina Pham is free of Ebola.
Seeing as he has worked hands-on with patients and other medical professionals for his entire career, the American public should trust what Fauci has to say about COVID-19. At the beginning of the coronavirus, Fauci advocated for containment of the virus by not allowing travel in and out of the country until the rest of the world slowed down. As the virus continues to surge through America, he has grown to encourage people not to leave their homes for any reason and to remain socially distant.
I have said that I feel we should be implementing this social distancing or physical separation, which in many respects means staying at home to the extent possible. And I do think we should do it broadly throughout the country, because although there are hot spots that we see that are very obvious, there is the threat of outbreak virtually everywhere and anywhere within our country.
Throughout the entire pandemic, him and his team have been eagerly searching for a cure or vaccine. Anthony Fauci has spent his entire career dedicating himself to public health and safety, and for that, the American public should be grateful. From BMB News, I'm Emily Yucht.
Thanks, Emily. So that will do it for another episode of the BMB Daily Report. Be sure to subscribe to BMB to get the latest on all that is going on around the district during this difficult time. Remember to tune in tomorrow for the midweek update and to the members of our community and of our family who are struggling today. No, you're not alone. And for BMB, I'm Haley Hepworth.